haven't forgotten, and either should you. You should never forget.
Never forget the sacrifice that was.
I agree.
That was put before you guys.
Right.
And you know what? We forget so easily.
I agree.
We forget so. I'm not going to get into political because this is the blog segment, and this is important.
Let's say this
because I was okay. Well,
all
right. Okay.
She doesn't have it. She said
our
regular segment is not going. So
that's all right.
Okay, that's okay. We'll do the blog segment. So this week's blog segment, I'm going to talk to Tom Sodeika. And Tom, tell us about your business. How I know you.
Sure. Tom Sodeika. I'm a Leo. I enjoy skydiving. I'm kidding. And I'm so glad that...
You're not a Leo?
You don't like skydiving?
I don't like skydiving, but I am a Leo. But let's just keep that between us. I'm so glad I called you today to find out that you dress up for the show because Fridays is casual day, and I had my Daisy Duke cutoffs on, and I thought, oh boy, I'm asking for trouble.
It's warm out there. I don't blame you.
Oh. So anyway, it's good to be here.
One of my very good friends, John Ganley, who's a regular listener.
Hey, Johnny.
I know what Johnny would say here. He says, I don't have any pants on now. You can't tell because of the video.
Right.
It's only up to there. So.
Yeah, you got to use your imagination, folks.
I use that one, Johnny. So that was for you, John.
Our feet are quite active under the table right now. But that aside, actually, you called me here to...
We talk a lot about, in this show, we talk a lot about local business. Now, you're local, aren't you?
We are. We're located in Oak Brook Terrace. We've been in Illinois, and we started in 1983.
Is that right?
And
tell us a little bit about you. Where are you from? Where were you born?
I was born in Cicero. Lived in Cicero till about sixth grade, and then moved to Arlington Heights. My parents both came here from Lithuania.
What high school did you go to?
I went to Prospect. Prospect.
So I lived in Mount Prospect and went to John Hersey. So
Hersey High School.
So Arlington would go to Prospect.
Yeah, and Arlington's closed now.
Yeah, it is closed. Yeah. So yeah. I was. Amy Jacobson is a Hersey High School alumnus.
I love it when Dan hits her up for she went to 7 proms. I'm like, high school's only 4 years, but she likes prom, I guess.
I guess she does. I'm sure she was
still
very
going.
popular. I'm
still going, you know.
I'm still going. Why not?
I'm sure she's very popular.
Yeah.
And okay, so I didn't mean.
So we're in Oak Brook Terrace, although we serve clients in all 50 states.
Okay, now it's Precision Payroll. So tell people what that is. What
Precision
is
Payroll of America? It's a payroll processor. It's an outsourced service, and what we do is process, calculate payroll for companies, calculate the taxes, pay the taxes. In about 95% of the cases, we have the power of attorney with the IRS, with the IDES, with the Illinois Department, with all the departments of revenue across the country. We'll make the payments. We'll follow up on any inquiries that they have, and take care of getting the checks to the employees, the direct deposits out, getting the W-2s out at the end of the year, filing all the tax returns for the clients, and it's very affordable.
That's so important because we were just talking last week about that, how a lot of businesses get in trouble for not making that payroll, for not being able to differentiate taking those taxes out. For example, and you start getting into cascading tax issues.
Problem. That's correct, and that's where we come in.
And you think I don't pay attention, you know?
Yeah.
Well, that's where we come in, and I thought that's why it's a good match here because I think, and people have heard me say that. I think last week I did a segment about that. I think people who are in business for themselves ought to do this and start their own company and hire someone like yourself.
Oh, absolutely. We've got probably 320 companies that have one employee.
See, I don't think most people would think that if I'm a one employee person, well, a lot of reason why they won't do it is because they're afraid of the payroll stuff, right? They're afraid of the paperwork.
Right. Because that's one of the greatest shocks that you go when you start a business and then you start hiring employees and you realize I have to look out for what? I got to do these payroll taxes. This is my burden that I've got to pay on top of. They think if I hire somebody for $12 an hour, it's costing me $12 an hour. No, counting workers' comp and depending on the type of work you're doing, it could be $15, $16, $18 an hour that it's costing.
That's right. That's right. So, it's important, and I think again, a lot of people don't realize that when they start their own. So a lot of people.
Well, I'm a young guy. I didn't realize that, and I have visions of grandeur of owning my own business and starting something, and that's something you don't factor in. I have a guy, $12. That's it. That's what I'm going to own.
I think that's important, and again, I get a lot of people that are my clients. They're very good at what they do. and they do it very well.
Yeah.
But the thing that they don't like to do, it's the paperwork. It's it's this stuff, and that's what you do, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And you've been dealing with the IRS for a number of years, and you know just the amount of regulatory burden that has come down on us, especially in the last 7 years, the hundreds of thousands of pages, and even more coming now with the change in the law for exempt status and non-exempt, who you pay overtime to.
I saw that.
They just arbitrarily
changed it
from 23 to 47,000.
We changed it. We talk a lot about on the show about the government and the regulatory agencies who have they don't go to Congress. They don't ask for any direction. They just kind of make this up as they go along, and it becomes power of law. And like as you just mentioned, I think a lot of people haven't heard this. So talk about that a little bit, because I think that one rule that you just talked about.
And I think it's going to have a tremendous impact to the hospitality industry, to the retail industry, because before, if you were paying a supervisor maybe $32,000 a year to supervise a small team, and it was a salary, you didn't have to pay them overtime because they had supervisory experience, so they met all the guidelines. Well, now many of those guidelines are being thrown out, and all that's being put into place is a financial threshold of $47,000. So if you pay somebody under $47,000, they'll be subject to overtime.
Okay.
So now you got more bookkeeping.
But this is a problem that I had, and I don't mean to cut you guys off.
And lawsuits. Huge loss.
Yes,
absolutely.
Yes. But this is a problem that I had, and I don't mean to cut you off.
Cut away.
But I'm just saying, when I would work overtime, especially for a couple other jobs, that's something that you want to do is work overtime. But then you look at how much taxes you're paying. In reality, there's no point of working overtime. You're getting killed. You're getting raked over the coals.
I agree with that. But what are you saying now? If I come out of college and I'm going to get a supervisory position out of college, like at a hotel, for instance, and I did some hotel work years ago, and you come out of college and they're going to hire you for $35,000 a year, which is pretty good for a kid out of college.
Yeah.
And so he said, but you're going to be on call, and you might have to work 50 hours a week. Well, I'm a kid. That's great. I get the experience. I'm a supervisor. But now, guess what? They're not going to get that job because they don't want They're
going to keep the guy that's been there.
Because now they're going to have to pay. They can't put you on that. And I just saw something in Europe that they're coming out this very same thing about overtime that they won't let you work overtime at all.
Right.
So the same thing here. They're not letting you work overtime, and it's going to cost a lot of people jobs.
Businesses will adapt as we did to the Affordable Care Act when they set full time at 30 hours. 10 million employees went down to 28 hours a week.
And I always have to laugh because they say, well, if we change it the way it is, this is going to be great for employees. But as you mentioned, what happens is the employers change.
Tom,
absolutely.
One last question for you. For people that are starting out a business that are looking for payroll, companies and stuff, like what is something that you, like for some advice that you would have for some of these people that are starting out? Just, is this the way is this something that,
Definitely. I mean, we talked about it earlier with Steve. If you want to establish a corporation, a sub S corp or an S corporation is a great way to go, because then you pay yourself on the payroll and you're automatically taking care of your own tax liabilities. You're not worrying about having to make estimated payments and calculate what you owe, and then be surprised at the end of the year. You can actually take control of that and manage your cash flows and get that liability off.
That's huge.
I think people think that it's too complicated and they won't do that, but they got to really.
Or it's very expensive, and it is very complicated, but it's super inexpensive.
So I'm a small business.
Oh, well, exactly. Yeah,
I'm a small business, and I want to call you. Give me your telephone number.
You can call me directly at 630-242-1507. 630-242-1507.
Do you have a website?
I'm going to post that. Yeah.
Yeah, precisionpayroll.com.
Okay, so and I don't know if listeners, I know listeners have heard you here on the station.
Sure, we've been advertising for about 10 years here,
awesome.
And we love it. We love the station.
Local owned, ladies and gentlemen. This is a local business. Stay local, and that's the whole theme that we have. Because if you're in payroll tax debt, or if you are having issues with the IRS, not only is Tom Sodeika somebody you should call, but Stephen Leahy with Opem Tax Resolution at 312-664-6649. One more time, Tom.
I had a client who needed help, and I called Stephen, and he was able to help him, and that's a great way to work. This is how we do business.
Now that's a teaser
here.
for something. When we get out of the commercial break, we're going to ask a little bit about that. So, ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned here on AM 560.
The Answer.